Indian Army, one of the most disciplined armed forces in the world. Its mission? To ensure national security and maintain peace within the country. It conducts rescue operations and helps to cope with internal threats. Why is it then accused of human rights violations in the Kashmir Valley? Through this program, we set to find out if the Indian Army is a friend or a foe of the people of Kashmir. In conversation with Colonel Pradeep Saxena and Major Amit Razdan.
I have got distinguished guests with me, Colonel Saxena and Major Amit Razdan. I welcome you to this show,
Thank you.
Colonel Saab and
Thank
Major
you.
Saab. We have this show merely because there are a lot of misinformations which are spread about Army and the way Army conducts itself in Kashmir, which is what is everybody's concern, and it becomes a hot topic everywhere, mainly in UK and everywhere else as well. So my first question to you, Colonel Saab, is why the army is needed? What is the history? What happened? Why did it go there?
You see, it so happened that when the partition was taking place, the Pakistan, on its birth, sent out raiders to try and force the Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir to accede to Pakistan. And consequently, when they were close to Srinagar, the Indian Army had to be called in by the Maharaja after signing the instrument of accession. That instrument of accession was signed on 26th of October, and 27th October morning, the first troops went in. When the ceasefire took place, the armies continued to remain as per the ceasefire agreement based on the UN, resolution of 1949. The armies had to continue to hold on to the positions which they last held. So that is the first aspect where the army was there. The second aspect of the army being there is that in 1990, when the insurgency started, then a counter-insurgency grid had to be established, with the result that the law and order, the security, the insurgency had to be contained so that normal life of the human beings, of the inhabitants of Kashmir could be safeguarded.
So it's basically for the benefit of people itself.
The protection of the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah, that is the foremost. Absolutely right. But Major Amit, I would come to you on this one. You know, there are a lot of myths about the actual numbers of army that are there. Some go on to say 700,000, some go in excess of 1 million. What is the truth?
See, there has been a lot of misinformation which has been spread with respect to the numbers. See, the total Indian force is 1.1 million. So it can't happen that the complete 1.1 million force is present in Jammu and Kashmir. So it's a blatant lie and a misinformation which has been spread.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, I would like to add to what Amit has said, that even if you add the CRPF and the BSF to it, it will not be 7 lakhs.
So when we talk about the downtown Srinagar or the parts of valley, what is the armed force or which wing of the forces is working there for the mission or safeguarding?
See, basically in the civilian areas like downtown or cities and all, it is the CRPF, the paramilitary force, which is safeguarding, ensuring the safety and sanctity of the vulnerable areas and vulnerable points, VAs and VPs as we call it. That is basically it is. Rest it is local law and order, which is the J&K Armed Police or the J&K Police. That's all.
Okay.
The army itself is not in the downtown or in the cities or in any townships. It is there in the countryside.
All right. Yeah. So basically, it's at the borders. You know, protecting the borders and looking after the insurgencies or terrorists coming, the movements.
I would say the border, the countryside, and the cities and townships.
Okay.
In that manner.
In that manner. Okay.
You want to add something?
So maybe I just want to add. See, the primary responsibility of law and order lies with the local police. So you have the Jammu and Kashmir police and the Jammu and Kashmir armed forces.
Yeah.
Armed police. So, and then you have got the CRP who are manning the vital installations, government buildings, and sensitive installations.
Yeah.
So army is in Srinagar just because the army headquarters is there. Otherwise, army is spread in the countryside.
Okay. All right. That explains, I mean, there is clearly a myth, really, about the numbers. It's nowhere close to 1 million or 700,000 as is perceived. And in UK and many other different forums, you can hear people talking about the various numbers, whatever comes to their whims and fancies. Anyway. But there is one thing which has time and again cropped up, Colonel Saxena, to you, is the alleged human rights violations, which at every forum they would come up and they will come out with various stories.
See, there are two aspects of the alleged human rights violations. One is real, and another is imaginary. The real today would be less than even 1% because we have the National Human Rights Commission dealing with them. And the rest is the imaginary one, which is there as part of the propaganda to try and defame or to demoralize the security forces which are there. And when I'm talking about security forces, please remember, I'm not only talking about the armed forces, the army per se, I'm talking about the BSF, the CRPF.
The
complete security apparatus which is existing in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So when is there everything for the propagandist, it is there, everything is army, even though it may be a BSF person or a CRPF person or even a local police person.
Okay.
So we have to be very clear to differentiate between them. And let me tell you that today, irrespective of what uniform a force is wearing, the human rights violation is less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
In fact, of late, one has not come across any in the last couple of years.
Okay. But the thing is that, out in the UK, I've attended many seminars and they go on gloating about these various stories, and some of them are quite brutal, the way they go about it.
Pankaj, we have to understand that it's not a normal war. It's a proxy war.
Yes.
A proxy war where information warfare is being used effectively to defame. It's not that one is a traditional war where you fight with guns and bullets. So this is a war which is fought with information. There's so much of social
misinformation
media.
rather.
Yeah, that's what you've been you're using information propaganda to spread false information.
Yeah. With that, I will come to you, Major Amit. AFSPA, again, one of the bone of the contention. People use AFSPA and make it the worst possible act ever or law in the history of mankind. Your thoughts and a clarification as to what AFSPA is. So, what is AFSPA, first of all?
See, AFSPA is, you call it Armed Forces Special Power Act. So, it's a law. It was passed by our parliament and it has become a law. So, it started with Northeast. It was first implemented in Northeast due to the insurgency, and then which it was extended to Jammu and Kashmir once the president's rule was imposed in Jammu and Kashmir. Yes. So, AFSPA is a law which is applicable to a situation which is not normal. It's not a normal. It's when the complete law and order machinery fails, then the army is called. So army doesn't go of its own.
Okay.
It's not that, for example, army decides, okay, they want to go to Pune or they want to go to Bombay.
Yeah.
It's when the complete law and order fails, the local police has failed, the complete administration has gone for a toss, then the army is called. So it's not a normal situation. So this is first point. Second point is that, so when army is sent, so they have to carry out these operations and they need a legal cover.
Okay.
Like for example, police. So they have got the National Security Act and the PSAs and other laws which protects them. So soldier also needs a legal cover. So when he's performing any operations in a counter-insurgency.
So it's a legal cover which is protecting.
Otherwise, it will be, for example, if AFSPA is not there, so it would be basically asking a soldier to go there and fight, and that would amount to a murder.
Okay.
See, for example, if a soldier is going without
provides a legal basis for the armed forces to be there and act on the basis of, behalf of the country. Or
not only that, how do you carry out a search of somebody's house?
Yeah.
If there is a terrorist who's hiding inside, or there is arms and ammunition reportedly hidden there, or some sort of a setup existing there,
you don't have a right
so you can't enter. I can't enter your house. You can't enter my house.
Yeah.
You have no right.
Yeah.
The AFSPA enables the security forces. Please remember, I am not using it for the army only.
Yeah.
I am using the word security forces. It covers all the security elements there.
Including
it enables
police and police to army.
Police, CRPF, army. It allows them to carry out the search of this premises and, if required, apprehend a suspect Okay, rather than kill him. Always the focus of the security forces is to first apprehend.
Yeah.
It is first to apprehend and then satisfy through the process of interrogation whether the chap is a terrorist or a non-terrorist. That's what it is.
Yeah.
For that, he has to have a legal cover. That is where the ASFA comes in.
Excellent explanation. I think hopefully these misunderstandings are sort of trying to clear them, and hopefully they are not there. So it is an act which is needed for the army to actually.
It's there in every country. It is there when the U.S. Army goes, the British Army goes.
So it is not an exception to India.
Even
only.
the United Nations, when their security peacekeeping forces go, they have passed a thing. The Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has proposed a law against the rape thing. By the peacekeepers. He has presented to the Security Council. That's a special law that technically is something like the ASFA only. If you were to extend it to that level, that's what it is.
So, Colonel Saxena, continuing with you, I know Army acts with impunity. The way that's how they are. There probably may have been some, vague cases or occasional cases of misdeed or anything that has been done. Do you think Army or the system has taken any actions against those who have been found guilty?
See, every system does have an odd black sheep, and there have been instances. When you cannot deny that there have been an odd instance when at the start of the insurgency, counter-insurgency, there were some people who reacted in an unsoldierly manner, as I would say.
Okay.
Fine, that is bound to happen. But subsequently, as the things have settled down, as the army has moved in, as these people have enforced orders from the higher ups, the process of such aberrations has gone down to less than even 1%. It's virtually non-existent today. You cannot expect to do something wrong and get away. And let me tell you the second aspect of it is, in the army we have our own set procedures. We have a court inquiry, we have a court martial. It is faster than most of the legal courts in the country.
Right.
It's the moment it is detected and the moment it is there, the action is taken immediately. So it is there. And as of now, Amit is here, you can ask others also. There have been virtually no instance. I have not come across any instance in the last 3 or 4 years.
Absolutely.
So
I must say.
Let's understand that it's like I said, it's not a normal war. Where you know who's the enemy. You're fighting against an unknown enemy. You don't know the numbers. You don't know what weapons he carries. You don't know his intention. You know from where he's going to attack.
He's not.
And when you're fighting in such a hostile conditions, there may be some aberrations. But then Indian Army is supposed to be one of the disciplined forces in complete world. It is ranked in the top as far as the discipline is concerned, and we have got our own courts, our own procedures to deal with this. And there has been
I'm aware of it, and I've come across and I've read about one or two cases.
Most people tend to forget is that a terrorist is not dressed in a uniform called terrorist with a badge or LET or a Hizb al-Mujahideen or a Jaish-e-Mohammed like the police or the army is wearing. He could be a chap standing next to you. And suddenly you'll find that he's the one who has thrown a grenade.
Absolutely.
You do not know that he's a guy next to you is a terrorist. So that is what it is. And if the police or the security force react, instead of he getting hit, you can get hit. And then you become an innocent collateral to the whole process. And that is what the people tend to project it in a negative light.
The error of judgment is actually very, very marginal when you're fighting these operations.
Very difficult.
And any operation which is carried out. So
let's put it this way, that it is definitely not intentional on the part of... Nobody goes around killing. That's not what army. So coming with that, Amit, Major Amit, I would ask you, so army finally, a friend or a foe of people of Kashmir?
Of course, Indian Army, like any other army, is meant to protect the people. So they are there for the people. It's not that, it's my army or your army. The army is for entire country. It's entire country's army, and in the past we have seen that army has played a wonderful role as far as people to people contact is concerned. So they are the person who has actually normalized the situation. So there has been a lot of initiatives with army has taken whether it is education, whether it is medical help, whether it is any other help, army has been number
Especially
one.
with the recent natural disasters in the...
See, there are two instances of disasters. One, the earthquake, few years back, and one of the floods in Chile.
Yes.
If the army was not there, you imagine how people would have survived.
Yeah,
how would they have been rescued? How would they have been fed? People were marooned. People had to be really pulled out.
Yeah.
When the whole of virtually Srinagar was underwater. So if the army was not there, like Amit is saying, then this would have been total chaos. A lot of people, we would have had more people dying than actually would have saved.
Absolutely. Yeah, so in the short form, would you like to say that army is actually needed there, not only to protect its borders, but also to protect the people of Kashmir?
Yes, absolutely.
And its and its assets, really.
Absolutely. That's
So
what it is.
army is, basically very much required there so as to maintain the peace and tranquility.
Absolutely.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
we are fighting a situation where, we have a proxy war, and there has to be some force which is supposed to counter it. And that is where army
If
plays
the army doesn't remain in Jammu and Kashmir to protect the residents of Jammu and Kashmir, then we'll have the situation of 1947-48 when the raiders came, they raped, looted, plundered Uri, Baramulla, Shantala, all those places, Punch. That will be a repeat of that.
There'll be a repeat of that. Yeah.
We don't want that.
We can never forget.
Jammu and Kashmir is part of India.
Part of India.
As much as any other part of the world is part of there, as Balochistan is part of Pakistan, that is Jammu and Kashmir is part of India.
So we want
We are there to protect the people. It's our people. Jammu and Kashmiris are Indians.
Yes.
There should be no doubt about it.
So the paradise on the earth must remain a paradise, and that's why army is there.
Yes. And
Okay.
just the last point. So you have got the Jammu Kashmir Rifles or light infantry. They are the peoples of, they comprise the people of Kashmir only.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. They are the local people.
They are the local people who are serving the Indian army.
The Indian army. Yeah. Well,
In fact, to what he has said, Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry, Naib Subedar, later on Subedar Major Bana Singh, was the one who, from Jack Light Infantry, he was the one who captured the highest post,
Yes.
which is known as Bana Post,
Bana
which was
Post,
initially known as, Quaid-e-Azam Post
Yes.
in Siachen Glacier.
Yeah.
It is he's a son of the soil.
It's a fact.
He's from Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry.
and these are all facts.
These are all
this
facts.
is what's
You
happened.
can't-
You can't deny them. Yeah.
And you have got Ladakh Scouts, you have got the Dogra Regiment, people.
Your Dogra Scouts,
from
Ladakh
that
Scouts.
belt.
yeah.
So the Kashmir is not just the valley; it is everything that is like Jammu, Ladakh,
Kashmir,
Gilgit.
yes.
There are so many areas that are along with it.
I would like to convey a message through your program.
Yeah, please.
If it is within
It's more than acceptable.
within your purview, that is that we should not forget that in 47-48 the raiders came as part of an organized activity by a certain gentleman by the name of Brigadier Akbar Khan, who wrote a book, The Raiders of Kashmir.
Yes.
In that he has specifically spelled out how the operations are conducted. समझे? So are we going to allow that thing to happen now? With Pakistan, the thing is, it always tells a lie, and then somebody goes and writes a book.
Yeah.
That what we did. The same thing happened in '65, Operation Gibraltar,
Yeah.
when the what they call infiltrators came. Then they denied it that they are not ours. Then they went and wrote a book. The generals who conducted it, who led it, he wrote a book. More recently, in '99, Musharraf said, no, they are not our people. They were people from the Northern Light Infantry.
Yeah.
And then he goes and writes a book in the line of fire and claims it to be a bestseller. So Pakistan has a history of denying, existing, living in denial mode.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for giving your time to us, Colonel Saxena, Major Amit Razdan. Thank you very much. With that, I would like to convey to our viewers, hopefully we have tried to clear some misunderstandings about Indian Army, who are doing, I think, a fabulous job in Kashmir, and we wish them all the luck to carry on doing a good job.